anywhere you go. Every day I'm with you. I can just bring this feeling, baby, you take a home. Cause this kind of love I get is a kind of figure. She said she don't want cause of compare with someone. She said I do like part of. She reaching your call. You did this ball. C'est toi la femme de mes rêves. La femme de mes rêves. Oh, we can love you better. Say we treat you better. Tell me we can love you better, girl. Who can treat you better? No one. No one. That's where you love. Girl, I need your love. Your love to make me regret. Girl, I need your love.
Alright guys.
I'm at your door, I'll be come, baby, hush for a while, duck, ooh, can we make this work? Girl, I'm on your phone, ring, when I get up on hold.
Hello, welcome to another very special edition of the Diddy Talks show. Guys, we have a full panel in the house. But what I need for you to do, first of all, is to go ahead, share, tag, and invite. We are doing the part 3 of a series that we began a couple of weeks ago. What do men and women really want? First, part 1, we spoke to the men. They told us what they want. They gave us a short list of 3 as to what they really want. And the women went all over planet Earth with their list. And now we have the men and women together on one table saying, can we just finally squash this topic? So we are here. I will introduce the panel to you shortly, but in the meantime, go ahead, share, tag, and invite while I bring you back.
La femme de mes rêves, oh, we can love you better. Say we can treat you better. Tell me we can love you better, girl. Who can treat you better? No one.
Alright guys, we are back. Sorry for the late start, guys, but we are here, finally, everybody on the table, full table. So allow me again to welcome you to the Diddy Talk show. Like I said, if you're just joining us, I need you to go ahead, share, tag, and invite. I want to introduce the panel to you real quick so you know who is in the building. Alright? I'll start with you. You look like the easiest person. Okay. So everybody just do your self intro so it makes life a lot easier for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, my name is Harriet Peace. Named Bob.
It's
Okay.
up to you. It's your intro.
Well,
I think you will.
I'm a CEO of Just Glow. I do beauty lotions for women, and I work for Citigroup as a data engineer, senior analyst. So I'm here today so I can also contribute to what has been an amazing topic, intriguing topic, so we can finally bring this to an end.
Yes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Next on the block. You look sandwiched.
Of course, yes. I'm between all the ladies, so yeah. My name is Morel the Hitton. I'm the promoter of the event called African American Diversity Gala. That will happen on the 21st of December. And I'm from Benin. And I work for the federal government as financial advisor to the CFO of FDA.
All right. Welcome. Glad to have you on board.
Yeah.
Sister.
Well, my name is Candy Bibi, but I also go by BMC, so I'm a bilingual
event hostess and an upcoming talk show host, so stay tuned for that. I'm just happy to be here to share my little 2 cents about this conversation, which I've been following closely, so I'm excited.
All right. Glad to hear that.
Hi guys, I'm Bianca Bang. I'm the CEO of Five Sisters Boutique. I was here last week for the part 2, and now I'm here for the part 3 for us to get it over with.
All right. Welcome again. You know you were very controversial the last time. So let's hear what the gentleman has to say.
I'm Ambrose Akenji. I'm with VIP Socio. So I'm just here for my 2 bits and to absorb whatever the ladies have to say.
Really? It's not going to go like that. We want to hear what you guys have to say. You're not getting off free. Yes?
Hi everyone, my name is Tongwa Akanji Aka, which so I heard it.
Akenji.
Oh, it's E. Okay. I'm an AU American University student. I study broadcast journalism, and I do hope to one day be like the boss herself, Miss DZ Talks. This is quite an opportunity for me. I'm really glad to be here and to be part of the conversation.
Aww. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Micah. I'm back from last week, and I am here to keep the conversation going. So, thanks for having me again.
Of course, you're welcome. We have an opinion who already had an opinion of you, saying you were the most. What?
I took it back.
Okay, you took it
I
back.
took it back already. So.
Okay.
You know, because some people were jealous.
Oh, sorry.
You don't want to hurt the ladies' feelings. So
Oh, you're let me quick. You're let me quick.
Really? No,
Yes.
my feelings.
Yeah.
Okay, hello, greetings to everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today. I've been watching you guys behind the screens, and today I have an opportunity to be a participant. I'm a clinical psychologist. I'm Dr. Nicholas Santos, and I love politics. I love social topics. I love mind-searching and mind-thoughtful subjects, and I love to come in and listen and participate to issues that concerns our emotions, our feelings, our sentiments, and what makes society better in terms of human behavior and interactions. And I think this topic is very, very fundamental in my profession, and I think I'll bring a whole more expertise in the field and also
Professional
experience
opinion.
and professionalism in the field. So expect to hear much from me today. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Welcome everybody. I mean, the amount of wealth that we have in this room, okay, the brain power is amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, really, like we've been having this conversation, it's an old age debate. You know, what do women want, what do men want? But a lot of times the women are sitting together and discussing what they want. And the men are also sitting together and talking about their wants, but we are not coming to the same forum to hash it out, right? To hash it out. So based on everything that we've been talking, what is really the short list? Is there any true short list of what we want from each other? Perhaps I should ask the question in a more summarized way. What will make you happy in a woman, or what will make you happy in a man? Should I go at the man first?
Yes. Please.
Any of the guys want to take a jab at this?
There you
Go
go.
ahead.
I have a controversial approach to it, as you know.
Okay.
It's
It's outside.
I think it doesn't really matter. Now what it doesn't matter. It depends on. First, to me, number one thing is you have to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you can't. Yeah, and a man or woman doesn't matter. And so, in order to know what you want in a woman, so you must know who you are. So it's impossible to say what men want, because not all men are the same. So ask the man in particular what he wants, and that man in particular first has to know who he is in order to answer that question. So to give a generalized answer, it's utility.
But the thing is, for a healthy conversation, you will have to somewhat expand the concept. It cannot be personalized.
Yeah, yeah.
We do understand that there are some areas where you have to narrow down to say, of course, no two people are identical. But there is, however, as such a thing as when I'm looking for someone, here are the 2-3 things that I think should be on that list. Mora, you want to help me with it?
No,
Okay,
no.
yes. Okay.
I want to ask, so what are we talking in what's the spectrum here? Are you talking relationship-wise, business-wise? Like, when you say find, when you're looking for someone like
You know, you can expand the topic to
Right.
include, in terms of partnerships or business. When we started the conversation, however, I think we focused in on relationships because I think that was the prime focus, you know, the predominant topic. But we're welcome to expand it. It probably will not stretch that far.
Well, the reason why I asked though is because we are inherently who we are as individuals, and that means that we respond to things, be it in relationships that are romantic or otherwise. We respond to things based on our individuality and what you want. He mentioned knowing what you want, and knowing who you are as a person, so that you can determine what you want from somebody else. That's going to change. For women, a lot of times from month to month or day to day. For men, maybe less frequently. But it's not going to stay constant.
I don't know.
And you're going to respond
Thank you,
to different
sister.
things in different ways because you are, as a human being, we're constantly changing and shifting as
Thank you,
people.
sister. Thank you.
You mean change or evolve?
Evolve.
Yes.
They're not the same
What's the
thing.
response?
It's the same thing.
But my point is, and she said something that is correct. We need to determine the question, is it based on relationship, in business, or other topics? And to my view, your question was, what do women want? What do men want in a relationship?
I think
That's what I believe it is.
Right.
So-
the way the conversation started,
That's
was
where it
focused
started.
on
So
relationships.
Sure.
Following
So
it,
if we're
So-
trying a
so-
conclusion, it should be on that.
On relationship.
following it
So-
from the start. You
so to
know
my
where
point of
she's
view,
coming from, you know.
If it's what men or women want in a relationship, so we have to narrow our leeway in trying to find the answer, because what a man want in a relationship, to my point of view, doesn't have too much to do with knowing himself, because you already get yourself into a relationship. Now you need to do what you need to do to be happy in that relationship. And to be happy in that relationship, things are not centered into you anymore. It's centered in two people that need to work together and make that relationship happy.
I couldn't disagree more. I couldn't disagree. We're completely two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
on
But
that
like
point.
coming back to what he's saying, but for you to be able to, two people are different. For you to be able to understand, when in a relationship, for you to be able to understand the other person, you have to know yourself first before you understand the other person, and the other person has to know yourself first before they can understand you. You're human
The
being.
truth is that a lot of people don't really
No, but
So,
what?
but what you're saying right now, is that's an issue, because before you can get yourself into a relationship, if you don't know yourself, how do you choose the person you will be in relationship with?
Well, that's why we make the mistake. That's why we keep making the mistake.
No,
and
but
we keep
we-
making the wrong choices.
We right now we're not talking about what do women want or what do men want in getting into a relationship. We said we have to
In a
make sure
relationship,
we have to make sure
You're
we're
already
talking
in
about
a
a subject.
Right.
We need to understand that we're not talking about what men want in getting into a relationship. You're already in the relationship.
What do you
We
want?
want to know
Yeah.
what do you want in that relationship.
Yeah, but even in that relationship,
But
in order for you to know what you want,
you have
in
to
the
know
relationship,
yourself.
you first.
That's a
must
known fact.
identify- No, it's not.
We're going down to the clinical psychology.
It's actually
This is what
not.
people want in the relationship, right? But you also have to help in looking for the relationship. I think all it compounds together.
Yeah,
It builds up
right.
ties
You
in.
can't
Yeah, you can separate the two.
I don't even know how you can have a relationship without knowing who you are.
No, but that's the most you know who
You
you are.
said something about how you are there just to make the other person happy. You already know yourself.
That's right.
You as a man, you're just there to make the other person happy. But what I want to tell you is that to me personally, that is wrong. You know why that is wrong? You trying to live to make your other person happy, you're displeasing yourself. And by you doing that, you're building up bridges that someday is gonna burst out, and then you're gonna be
So
like,
you
I
get my
can't
point,
take
man.
this
I
anymore.
never
So
said that.
what are you saying? So you
When you
made
make
this
No, I
statement.
said
So you
when you
shouldn't
get-
focus on trying to make the other person.
No, I
No,
never
she
said.
said, he said when you get in a relationship, now you are trying to make yourselves.
No, you have to make the relationship happy. And to make the relationship happy doesn't mean you have to leave yourself out. It's two-person, which means that you have to
Which
have
still
commitment.
means you have to
You
know
have to work
yourself
together.
at the end of
I
the
think
day.
we're saying kind of
And
thing.
We
yeah,
say the
it's
same
the
thing,
There's a
though.
certain level of sacrifice that goes into
Thank
being
you.
with somebody else.
So assuming you know yourself, what then?
Okay.
That's right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so then,
We're getting
That's the
well,
key point.
Let's assume you know yourself.
let's
Just
just assume that you know yourself.
You know yourself.
and
Yeah.
what's
Yes.
the
Yes.
next? No, but the thing though is there
80%
are
of the
people who are
time,
getting
people
into
don't know
relationships
themselves.
without knowing
Knowing
themselves.
themselves.
So the question is, so if you found yourself in that thing, so you want what you're wanting from each other is to say, I want to make sure that you know yourself. I already know myself.
No, you can't make sure
because
someone knows himself. That
no.
is not you to make sure they know. They
No, but then the
yeah.
thing is, we're asking the question, what do men want? What do men and women want? You're saying, I want to know, like, before knowing what I want from you, I need to know myself, right?
Right.
But the question, though, is, what I'm trying to throw back at you guys is, shouldn't you also be wanting to make sure that that individual knows themselves?
That's right.
Because you can know yourself, and then you assume that, okay,
I
this
don't-
might not
I
go
don't-
together.
hang on a
You
second.
can have it
Let's-
together, but
I-
what if they don't have it
I
together?
so, you know, this
Or-
is
This time we're going away from the subject, actually.
I
Are
think-
we?
We are.
There's so much to say on this.
Okay.
We're going away from the
I
subject.
think
All right.
I followed the last edition of TT Talks, and I think I listened to the ladies talking. I think the question was really like, what do women want the men to do for them in a relationship to keep that relationship?
Okay.
And I think if we take it that way, we'll be more focused.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
What the women want
Yeah.
in a relationship.
Even in that question, even in
What-
that form.
I'm not okay.
It's
You
not
can't
let's
say
just
the
say,
same.
and what that men also will want
And one.
from a relationship from their women or their spouse or their
Answer
parents
is the same.
to keep that
Answer
relationship.
is the same.
Right.
I think a relationship is something that is beyond imagination. Like just we have in gravitational force, we have the centripetal and the centrifugal forces. The forces that pulls together and the forces that pull apart. Dating is different from marriage. Companionship, partnership, civil union, marriage living separately, contractual marriages. These are all terms in relationship used in the Western world. It depends which one you choose that you want to get into. Some people are married just contractually for a period of time. Some are living together, just seeking a companion. Some want a lifelong relationship. So psychologically, the needs of every human being varies across the developmental spans. As we evolve, for example, let me also use some experience here. When I fell in love with my wife that I'm married for 18 years today, I have 4 kids.
All right. 18 years.
When I met my wife, we had what brought us together. I left Europe, I left Germany. I've been in Europe like 4 years or 5, and I went to Africa on vacation. I met my wife. I was asked her, for example, I want to use this example to like to sort of jumpstart the conversation. I asked her the question: What are your dreams? What do you think we can make out of this relationship? Is it just a girlfriend or a boyfriend thing, like the bush fella thing of having enjoyment and pleasure and returning back to Europe? She said, no, she's ready to get married and have children. I said, I'm more than ready. So something clicked. There was something already, because you guys need to know where you are heading to. Are you heading just for pleasure? Are you heading for a lifelong relationship? Are you heading for a contractual relationship? Are you ready for until death do us part, or just some sort of a game or play? So you need to first of all have something that unites you people together, a click. And I think the chemistry, that chemistry must be there. So once that chemistry is there, then you will start having goals. You have long-term and short-term goals. So if these goals are not corresponding, or if they are conflicting, you start saying them. Because for us, in our tradition, as
That's while you're dating.
yeah, in our tradition, we date for some time, and the parents get to know what family this comes from, and from the end of the day, at the end of the day, if you find that this person relates somebody you can have something to do with for a long term, then marriage kicks in, and when marriage kicks in, it has its own new trajectory. So it's always different to differentiate between boyfriend, girlfriend relationship and marriage relationship expectations from one another. And if it comes to what men really want in a relationship, I went looking into my archives of seeing into about 10 of the things that men will want for relationships.
That's what we're supposed to be our
So
own
10 either way, as it says that the men will want affection from their women. They will want believe in the woman to believe in his capabilities. The man will want understanding from the woman. They want appreciation and affirmation. We want acceptance. We want the woman to be less a chatter. Less a chatter means the woman talk too much, become nagging, you know. And then the man will want respect. The man will want the woman to spend some free time with him. And then the man will want trust, and the man will want companionship. Then for the woman, a woman will want understanding and forgiveness.
You summarize it for everybody.
No,
We don't want that.
He's giving some
Okay,
thought.
that's
I'm jump starting the debate.
Yeah, sure.
So that we have direction.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
have direction.
A woman will want a man to show her love first, to be understanding and forgivable. That's forgiveness. To be conversational, to spend quality time with her and the kids. To hear more of yes than no.
Yes. Thank you.
The man should exercise better listening skills, which means the man should talk less. And the man should show affection and kindness and share household responsibilities and take care also of children. The man should take days off more often to spend with the family, and the man should develop a healthier attitude towards their health. So I think when it comes to this, you just see that we make some sort of, when we look at the responses of what men want and what women want, it boils down to me coming back to say what to us as human beings really want for another. One guy will be a woman or a man, because all of us are on the same train. We are human beings before being man.
Different people, we're all looking for the same fundamental things, that's understood. But we love in different ways. There's something called love language.
Right.
If your love languages don't match, it's not gonna work out. That's just, you know, like spending time. Some people they don't really care if you spend that much time with them. But they do care about, providing or care about other things. So you have to think about that.
What you just saying right there, it brings Diane to understand the want of the man and the woman in the relationship depend on the step of the relationship they're in. For example, when you start dating somebody at the beginning, your want and her want are different. When you go to a marriage, your want and her want will not be the same as you started with you dating, and it's different. And then when you have kids, oh God, the want and the need of both of you are also different. And then when the kid grow, and then you become a little bit older, your want and your need between your wife and yourself are different. So we need to make sure we understand those things before we say, oh, we want compassion. A woman that is
you cannot define it to you or you need.
No, but
I think there has to be a starting point. You have to understand. I think in terms of what you want, is that there's a foundation, a starting point.
Right.
Nobody can predict that in 10 years is exactly what I want in 10 years.
Yes.
But you have to understand there's a level ground for understanding. That we have mutual understanding of each other and where we're trying to go.
And
so that
Michelle,
this is one.
And that
Michelle
understanding
Obama,
evolved
if I could-
with time.
I think
That
there's
understanding evolved.
And you know what we want from each other is to understand, because there are people who grow apart though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, what I would say is that what you're saying. Okay, a lot of women that I know, they will start a relationship. I see him and I'm like, okay, he got 8 things about him that I can absolutely work with, and he got like 5 other things that Lord, they're alarming. Trust me, you take those alarming points. If you can't take them, don't go into a relationship thinking you would change. I agree. Because you are wrong. Trust me. Go into a relationship thinking that, well, if the things that he can't change, can I deal with it?
Right.
Can I deal with them? And then you keep moving. Because if you're thinking that, hey, someday he's gonna work like that, that's how we grow. That's how a lot of marriages keep growing apart.
Right.
Women are complaining, he don't want to change. He dresses this way. You met him years ago. He was wearing his pants sagging down,
Right.
and you thought you could change him.
Right.
And then that's what I'm just trying to say here, that we should, even when we say we know ourselves. Know yourself to the point where you actually jot everything down. Like, do I have chemistry with him? What is it about him? Yeah, I'm telling you, I would do that. It's important, like jot your life.
We should go around the table.
Like jot things down that is an absolutely no to me. What I also mean is, like, might be sick to yourself, because yourself will tell you the most truth out of the world. I don't care what whoever advised me, but me, Harriet, down deep down the soul, what do I want? Can I take that? Can I not take that?
Well, that comes from knowing yourself,
Talk
right?
to yourself.
Well, that's what some people might
That's
say,
okay.
knowing yourself, but then they have this wrong conception
No, then they
that
don't know
I
themselves.
know myself.
Then they
But
don't.
hey, let me think. Maybe in the nearest future, I see something. He might change.
Well,
Trust me,
let's
a
define
lot
what.
of
Let me
people-
expand
What
it
is
on
it
something,
about his
please.
knowing yourself?
That's what I said.
No,
You
I
better
want
be
to
saying
say-
I was
I want to
50, but I break it down. Like, what do you know yourself?
Let's
What do you
define
mean?
first
Some
what you know.
people
What is
say,
knowing yourself?
Yes, can
somebody
I
might be
interject
like,
that?
know myself, I like
So-
one. Hello,
So
that's
this,
knowing
what-
themselves.
so
You
when we say
understand?
know
People who make
yourself,
those statements.
I have to expatiate on that. Like,
Yeah.
when we say know yourself, and to me, one of my greatest quotes is that own self be true. In truth, not in some telling yourself
Fantasy.
this. In truth, okay. And in order to truly know yourself, it requires a good. I can give myself an example. A great assessment of myself. First thing I start is, what are my weaknesses? We can even go back to Genesis, where how men and women came about, and we know the separation. And what is it that is causing man and woman to even want to come together in the first place?
Thank you.
Right? So that's what I say. I take a totally different approach to this. I approach it from an energy standpoint.
Okay.
What is male energy? What is female energy? If you don't know what male energy is, you don't know what to look for in a woman, because you won't even know how to identify female energy, right?
Okay.
So and in order for you to know male energy, you have to study yourself. If I am a disorganized person, I'm intrinsically, and I'm honest with myself about it, intrinsically I am attracted to an organized woman.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's
I,
true.
Absolutely true.
if I'm a person who loves children, I'm intrinsically attracted to a woman who takes care of children. It's not even something I control.
Yeah.
Right.
I find myself
Lots of nature.
pulling towards that.
Right.
Lots of nectar.
Now, if I don't know myself, and I'm still caught on the animal instinct of myself, where I'm just, and you say, oh, she looks good. You are in, it's illusion, because you don't truly know yourself, right? So you can't truly say that. So once you know, so if I know that I'm half of me and I only have my right hand, right? I know that in order to be complete, I have to look for my left hand, right? So that's what I mean by that in a philosophical sense. So you're in a philosophical and even spiritual sense, right?
Right.
Because to me, that's where it all comes from. What is your one sole purpose in life? My sole purpose in life is ascension, right? You want to become your best self. And Michelle Obama stated very eloquently that if you go, well, even though I disagree with the part of, let's say you're going to war, who would you take as? I don't view, I see, let's say you're going on a journey to nowhere. who will
Who is
you
your
want
best?
as your companion
Yourself.
on that journey, right?
Yourself.
So that's what I mean by knowing yourself, and
Right.
in so many ways. And I have to disagree with some of the generic things that the men want today as a man, and I have to disagree with some of the generic statements as far as like dating, marriage. To me, marriage, dating, whatever makes zero difference.
And can I
Because
say
if I am not
I
happy
think-
in dating, I can't even get to girlfriend.
That's
If
true.
I'm not happy in girlfriend, I can't even get to marriage. So the requirement is the same.
Know yourself.
Well, but see, I think what you were
We
saying
haven't
though
heard
is that
from-
there is a difference, in my view at least, there's a difference between responsibility. Of course, your responsibilities are going to change from when you're just girlfriend and boyfriend to when you have kids. You're not gonna have to do the same things in life, but that doesn't. It's not the same as the fundamental things that you need as a human being to be loved. And those are two different things. Life is going to throw at you what life is going to throw at you, but it doesn't change how you are as a human and how you love somebody as a human. And that's where I think a lot of those like what women want versus what men want come into play.
Life shapes everything. The way, it does. When things like throw at you, it shapes you. I'm telling you. Like you go through something in life, coming out of that thing, you're a different person. Life shapes you.
It does shape you, but
you let that shape you.
There's a fundamental you.
That's what I'm
There's
saying.
a core you that
you
you
should not
Like
change.
just because
I
they
went
say
through a bad
maybe
relationship is gonna
so
determine.
maybe you go through death.
Then you're living in
You lose
memories
a loved
and then you're
one,
living in the
or-
future.
Or someone cheated on you. Doesn't mean that you stop. You may not be your level of trust may decrease.
I'm telling you,
It doesn't
but
mean
that's
that
a change.
It is a
That
change.
is considered as a change.
It doesn't mean that there's something fundamentally you though.
I know that the fundamental is there, but at least you might, even if it's 1% change, you see a change.
But as long as your goal is ascension, right?
Yes.
You're changing for the better.
Thank you.
It is an evolution. It's not necessarily a change.
The concept
right?
thing is
You're still on the
So
same
what you guys are
trajectory
managing to say
towards
is that
your
there's
best self.
no such thing as a list or whatever.
No,
that's
there's
what
no
you guys are
Yeah.
arriving.
I mean,
There's
there's
no
no-
list.
There's no answer to that question. There
And
is
then
no
there's a
answer to
common
that
denominator
question.
in those lists, though. There's a common denominator. Like
There's a common,
they'll say
like,
the weight a man's
acceptance,
had
all of
is food, right? I know that maybe there's a minority percentage that may not agree that food is probably something
If
that's-
it was food,
but you have maybe a good.
The reason why food is important is because it represents that female energy,
We
that
got you.
nurture.
Because
It's
if it
not
was
the food,
food,
it's this synonymous
We are not
have the back of
representation of
head.
food because
we
it
worked the
represents
topic
nurture.
initially today
And which a woman
what
is
going
natural.
on
That's why we
inside
have
our relationship.
There's
They are
enough
natural.
And she's dating workers,
They
not
are
like
natural.
before you
Never-
get in a
Let me
relationship.
weigh-
You see that most of our
That's
relationships are breaking
Let me
because
weigh-
we don't know what
Okay,
we
so
are
that's
before
why
getting
we are
into the
here.
relationship.
Let me
So
weigh-
if we
We
got
are
into
here.
it,
Okay,
Let
trust
me weigh
me.
in.
Okay,
Let me weigh in on
sis,
the point
hold
here.
on. Exactly.
You see, I love the
For real though.
conversation, though.
Like,
And I
I'm
love
being
I love
overshadowed.
the conversation. I love the debate. The issue is that all of us are within one mainstream. Looking at the Western world and from a psychological perspective in this conversation, I like to reflect back on family therapy and relationship counseling. You see, the way things are done in the West, as opposed as it's done in our own part of the world where we originate from, is different. Here, parents who have their children who are teenagers who start dating, they go for the children, obviously, and the family as a whole, because when the children are involved with the therapist, they have a therapist, a psychotherapist for the family. And what happens is they come for relationship counseling because they have noticed some changes whereby somebody new will become part of that family because the person will have the right to come into the house and go out anytime, knowing that this is the boyfriend of this or that, or the girlfriend of that. Now, the same thing with marriage. People who find themselves here and they think that they can get into a serious relationship, they go to see their therapist. The therapist does what you know is evaluation, premarital evaluation, and
Do people
counseling.
really go to
Yeah.
the therapist?
a lot.
I have to tell you, I will never find myself.
I'll never waste my money, but
I'm talking about the Western world.
Yeah.
In the Western
People
world.
go to
it.
maybe they go to
Yes.
counseling,
Yes.
counseling, but
Marriage-
a
not just
therapist.
marriage counseling,
Person
there's
at a
a-
even yes, they go.
Most people go to their religious
No.
advisors.
That is with
I've
us.
never heard of
With
people
us.
go to
With us.
therapists.
Our
before marriage.
strongest force, as especially Africans, is that our therapists are our grandparents and family support systems, or our priests or pastors. But with the white community, especially Western world, most of them, they go to their therapist. They have a family therapist, and they go to them for relationship counseling, for family therapy and stuff. But I was told this by one of my previous supervisors that most of the problems that we encounter in our relationships are the problems that would have been avoided if we had sought a solution before. So we already come for healing or for therapy when we are already caught hands down in what we would have avoided by not doing what we ought to do.
No way. You said seek a solution before, but there wasn't a problem.
Because you did not see the
because
problem.
we only go because of the problem.
It wasn't.
We can guard against problems by taking measures of having that counseling, so that the problem do not happen down the way. We come there where we are already victims.
Personally, I completely
So that is
Let me tell you what he's saying.
Yep.
Like some people, let me say for example, I have a friend, she's married, and okay, they are having marital problems, and when they went to a therapist now, they discovered that back then, the husband's mother, he grew up without a mother figure, and he did not grow up in a home that he felt loved. So when he grew up, got married, he did not have a lot of these issues, but later on, there are things that his wife would do that would trigger him to act like that, not knowing that it was because when he was growing up as a young boy, he did not grow up with that love. So when you go to a therapist, the therapist traced it back, assessed it, and said that there was an underlying issue when he was growing up, which was not addressed, that is causing him to have all of these marital problems.
That should fall under the category of knowing yourself.
Thank you.
And it comes to me. It comes down to also
communication.
Yeah, because
if you're truly interested in that person's ascension as well, you will sit down and
you'll see the red flags.
So what do you want? What do you? Yeah.
There is no answer to that question.
The reason we can't answer it because if I say what I want, right, I'm a man, right, you probably say something different. Yeah.
There's no answer to that question.
That right away, my answer.
That
seems
question
like
has
wrong,
been asked for centuries,
Right.
and nobody has been
What
able to
a man wants in a relationship that is ongoing.
okay,
We are here to be my point of view. Why this topic was very intriguing to me, because it might help people that are in a relationship that found themselves in a relationship because they thought they could achieve or acquire something better, and then now they're in trouble. This kind of topics is to help people grow out of their own troubles.
It's okay.
What she says, you say, it might just touch somebody out there. You say let them find themselves, but we cannot completely say this topic is off conversation. We cannot handle it. There's still some points that we can talk about. We can talk to it.
We understand that. It's just that your wants in life. If I ask you what do you want in a relationship, it's different.
I can say it. It might help somebody else.
Okay,
so let's hang on for a second. Let's just say I ask you now, right?
Hold on. Let me just reintroduce the topic.
Let's give us a different one.
Hi everybody, if you're just joining us, clearly we have a panel that cannot agree on what the conversation is. However, we are here to discuss what do men and women really want, and our focus for tonight is relationships. In a relationship or around the parameters of a relationship, that is where we are narrowing down our focus on this conversation. And I have with me a full panel, men and women. The men talked about the conversation. They gave us what they wanted. The women attempted to give us what they wanted. And now we have everybody at the table and we can't seem to agree, once again, what we want. So what do men and women want? Guys, if you're just joining us, I need you to go ahead, share, tag, and invite. And let's continue the conversation. All right. So who had the floor? Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to it. She gives what women want. He gives what men want, because the views will be different. You give. No, I'm not saying now. We're going back to the conversation because at the end of the day, all of us have different views of what women want. All of us have different views of what men want.
Okay. Maybe I should narrow that. Maybe I should just ask some questions. Right.
That's what
Security seems to be a big thing in relationship. Women are constantly looking for security. And perhaps the question is,
security.
yeah,
Financial security.
But that's what I want to define. But I also understand that there are men who also want security in a relationship, and we may have different perspectives. And can we come to a middle ground of what women think is security? Does that meet the expectation of men? In terms of, can men be providers of that security that women desire? So can one of the women offer a definition of what security means to you as a woman? Because it is something that we seek in relationships. Yes.
Personally, as
Michael, we have not heard from you. She's buried in this conversation. Like, can we, you know?
Security to me would mean stability, like financially. Secure in a relationship as well. Like, I would want something where I can rely on the person, right? Like, I have some sense of like this person is there for me, right? That's how I would define security.
Okay, so for you, security is financial security and maybe transparency. Like, no, you want safety, reliability. Any other contributions from the women as far as what security means to you?
For me, as a young person, I think that there is it's changing how like what women, at least what women my age want. We're living in a time when women are bolder, they're braver, they're doing more things.
Right.
For me, I want support. I want a man who doesn't think I'm supposed to be in the kitchen, who doesn't expect me to only do the things that are supposed to be women things to do. Not because I'm above those things. I'm a great cook. Like, you can ask all my people. And I will still do those traditionally women roles, even though I have a problem with that. But I do want somebody who, security for me would mean you support me in my dreams, push me as I push you. You know, because it can tend to be lost in translation there.
I mean, that's fair. That's you know, from a early 20s perspective of what they're looking for in a relationship. But I like the fact that we're coming from different angles, different perspectives. Diaga, you have something to add to security, what women it is, and then I want the men to come back and say, are men also looking for some kind of security, and what is their definition of security?
For me, for what I would need in a man for security, I would need, like what she said, support. I need to be able to be there for me emotionally. I can come to you with anything. You should be my best friend. Like my first line of defense. If I'm going through anything, you should be the first person that is there to solve it for me. Be it financially, be it emotionally, anything. Taking care of the kids, anything, you should be the first line of support before I go to somebody else. That's what I consider security. I can tell you anything. Something can be paining me right inside my stomach. A woman can be ashamed to show. I can say, hey baby, can you go under there and check?
Okay.
Well, to me,
Can you secure?
To me, security is a little deeper to me. Okay, even if I feel like financially you can support me, to me, security is, I want to know that you're that person I can count on in times of, like, if things are really down. I want to know that that's my woman. Let me be the woman. Let me wear my feminine pants. Let me just be the woman. Let me know that you are the head. You're going ahead of us. You're bringing things. You're making our lives better. You're ahead. I mean, I do understand a lot of people say a man is the head, but if you are leading our family to a wrong direction, I need to stand up. So to me, a man, my own security is, let me sleep well in the bed without anxiety attack, knowing that I have my man right there who's gonna stand up and be the man of the house. That's my own security.
Well, what does that mean, though, be the man of the house?
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of things when it comes to that. Oh, okay, for example, I can say, for example, I said something like a man that you can count on. You can bring an idea like, baby, come on, let's invest in this. And then we go invest, then we lose. You could say, okay, baby, I want to invest, I want to do this business. Like, you're always bringing your own ideas, but they seem to fail every time.
Right.
You understand? I want a man that is like, how can I say, security in my own terms is like, I can trust your instincts. I can trust your yes, your vision.
Like our eyes.
You're like my eyes. You
I'll throw it
understand? I
back
want
to the
to
guys,
trust
so sis.
that. Okay.
I'll throw it back to the guys.
Yeah.
Do men feel that there is a lot of pressure if they say, if the woman is saying she wants to entirely trust your vision, your sense of direction? Is that a lot of burden for a man to carry from a man's perspective? Because we're talking about the things that we want, and sometimes the reason why we're having misunderstandings is because maybe those things are unrealistic to you guys.
Right.
And so can you guys help to address that?
I think, okay.
I mean, for me, I don't know. My views are so controversial. I'm sorry.
Hey, look,
I don't believe so.
If I'm just way out there, like, I really cannot simplify it. But I have simple answers for it, right? Because in a sense, it really doesn't matter to me. If you are just as invested in my happiness and my growth as I am in yours, then everything will just fall
In place.
in place. You won't even have to tell him to be a man naturally. He knows in order for him to make you be a woman, it requires him to be a man.
Right.
Because he is just as invested in your womanhood as you are in his manhood. So
Bro, the question is what we are expecting from the man. Is that a heavy burden?
No.
Because women are saying, you know, we want a man who
So I'm
can.
saying it cannot be a heavy burden if he is equally invested in your own growth. I'm trying to say,
tell
that's what
me
I'm
what
saying.
if the man is not invested in her own growth?
That's then if
He's
then
not
he is
mad.
not
Then
your.
he's not-
That's
he's
what
not
I'm
your
saying.
man.
You happen to marry him already.
That-
See,
that's-
now we're trying to
you
seek
should
counseling.
We are already in
help
the
one
marriage.
another. We're trying to grow. And then this man at one time, maybe he had some mental problems that he just went back. He's sleeping on the bed all day. He don't want to do anything.
No,
That's
but
what
if
I'm
he
saying.
has a
It's
mental
that's a different
problem,
topic.
no,
That's
you're
No.
just having a
And
mental
that's the topic
problem.
of
My
that's the
end
topic
of
of
relationship.
broken relationship,
If-
but not what
truly,
men
Diane,
want.
when people have
Okay,
mental
yeah,
That's the
problems,
topic.
that's
That's the topic of a fragmented
Things that you do
relationship
in
as
your
opposed
life.
to.
Because it looks like
Okay.
everybody's
Because
talking
in
about
the
it.
other scenario then becomes a different topic because that becomes a topic of a broken relationship. But when the relationship was happy, did you need that? So no. So then this is a
Diane.
different topic.
It's not really what women want and what
I
men
was
want.
thinking that
Because
we
you
were
got
talking
married to
about
him
what
because
could-
you
not
saw
what
that
could
in him,
help,
right?
whether in a relationship, whether it's breaking up, whether it's flourishing,
No, sis, we're
whether
not
it's what, that's what I
digressing.
thought.
No, sis,
Uh-huh.
sis, let's not look. There are many ways of skinning the cat, right? But in this particular case, we narrowed down what our scope of the conversation is.
Yes.
Yes, and we're saying that we're trying to just figure out what it is that we want from each other.
For our relationship to be
Our
happy.
relationship work, and specifically on
I would
security.
like
Yes.
to jump in. Based on what you're saying, okay, is that you no, but because I'm not agreeing with you. Why? Because your view is like you're talking as if it's a relationship that is perfect.
It's not.
And no, what you're saying is that what you have in that relationship, if he's not bringing anything to the table and all that, that means that relationship is perfect, though you don't need nothing. But we're talking about a relationship in general where you have up and down. How do you work toward it
That's
to
what I'm
make
saying.
it
Right?
a
Yeah,
perfect
how you
relationship?
work towards is being committed to each other's best interest, right? So then, for example, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like, first of all, have you identified that you go to war with a soldier, whatever? Things happen. You don't have to now start asking, what do I need in a... You have already identified that this person is the person that would kick in when this happens.
Yeah, but we are human
Is that
beings.
what we're saying?
And things change.
That's why you married them.
I think
That's not realistic.
To me, let me
That's
tell
what
you,
you-
your
that's-
programming was different.
It's
You
not
have people
realistic.
from Africa that are programmed different. You have African Americans that are programmed different. My thing is that you're talking for yourself. It's a good thing. But now let's talk in general. People that don't know how to get that spiritual awareness that you have. So how do they handle this? You understand? That's what we're trying to talk
My
here.
constant answer
Not-
is to first
Not to
identify.
There are a lot of good
I
comments.
can't think
there.
of
You have
one.
to accept it.
Is to- I will always go back to
See, if the relationship is broken, step back and reassess
I
yourself.
will always go back to you, the woman.
You have to
Identify how is it that you created an environment where now this man is no longer
It's not
doing what,
conducive.
and how you the man, how is it that
It's
it's not an it's not hard trying to take fault. It's hard trying to it's not listen, it's not an attempt to take fault. It's the same thing the man has to do,
Can
by
I
the way.
counteract
That's what the
it?
therapist will tell you to do.
Can
by
I
the
can
way.
I counteract something
Go ahead.
based
I don't
on
like
your
it.
point? This is my understanding. We are people. There is there is
Because
reality.
the therapists have never been in the situation, and every situation
What
is
makes you
different.
think you have never been in
Well,
this
but I can
situation?
say this.
Like, she's making a point.
There's
What makes you
reality
think this is
that happens. There's a
show
reality that
conversation.
happens to real people. Real people can fall out of love.
Thank you.
The same two people who fell in love with that energy that you're talking about, they can fall out. Not because anybody cheated. Not, they can just be like, you know what? I don't feel you anymore, so I'm gonna move on. You didn't do anything necessarily. I didn't do anything necessarily, but we're just not on the same level anymore.
They lost
So I
commitment.
think that what
So what
That's your problem.
But what the question is,
you allow people to finish,
how do
please?
you, or what are the things in a relationship that you look for, or that you at least like watch out for when those kinds of things start happening?
So let me ask you, if a person falls out of love with you, what are you trying to do? He's not in love with you. What are you going to do?
You walk away. I mean,
Okay, so there's no therapy for that,
imprison
right?
yourself.
So what we're talking about, we're not talking about fixing something where a person's out of love with you, right? You're talking about repairing something where the person's still.
No, but the point, why I made that point is because why I made that point is
Because you might
because
have
you see.
Because you're not in love with you.
No, hold on. Let's not have side conversations. The thing is that we have an audience that's actually following us. So if it was
Read
just
some of the
us,
comments.
if it was just us, we would be fine. But there are people who are following. So when we're having two conversations on two ends of the spectrum, then we'll lose them. So let's try to allow each speaker to take it to the finish line. We cannot isolate these things, right? Yeah, there are, if there's such a thing as perfect, there are perfect scenarios, but we agree that they must be worked. And again, to the men, is it a burden what the women require in terms of security, or it is not? I mean, because it tends to be a fundamental thing. Like, women desire that you want the security, but maybe the financial support. But men are probably coming from the school of thought of where in a culture where you are also working, they are working. So what then becomes that financial support? Is it that you're bringing 50-50? Is that what is defined as the support? Or what is it that is defined as support? Or is it so individualistic that it's irrelevant?
If it complements you, the support. If I'm making money and she's not making money, but she's able to raise the children great, that's support.
Right.
But if I am not working and she's making great money, and now I have to assume the female energy
That's support.
per se, that's support.
It is
So
support.
it is a matter of, do you complement each other?
That's compromise.
Because you're
Common goal.
why are you complementing each other? Because you're both committed to each other's growth.
So
And
that's
so
why
it
you
goes
say
back
that
to the
what
same
works
point.
for your relationship will not work for this relationship. What works for mine will not work for you. So at the end of the day, what is
We're
working
coming
for
back to
the
the
same
same
question.
thing.
All right, so we might as well move forward. That I think we're all agreeing that clearly we're agreeing.
There's no answer to this question.
No, we're agreeing that it boils down to two people coming to the table and then having their discussion as to what is it that will work for them. Let's talk a little bit there. Let's switch questions for a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about transparency and maybe infidelity. a lot of relationships have infidelity in it, and is this something where how do men sometimes when a man steps out of the relationship, there's a different expectation that he can come home and try to renegotiate his position and not lose the woman.
Right.
But it's not necessarily true on the other side, right? Men expect the woman to be 100% loyal on the table, right? Like never step outside. Would that be a factual statement, or would that
Very
be
factual.
an inaccurate statement?
Very
I
factual.
want the
It's
men to
inaccurate.
actually answer.
Yeah, that kind of man. I mean, because
It's inaccurate.
it's inaccurate. Okay, it's inaccurate.
I think responding to that question, the answer will vary. The response will vary.
Let me ask you a question. Do you want
Can you let me finish, please?
Yeah, with different men. I always talk when I want to address a very sensitive topic of this nature. I would like to consult with some of the ethical rules, religious affiliations, taking into consideration religious affiliations, cultural perspectives. Because what works for the state of Maryland does not work for the state of Utah. The state of Utah in the United States, for example, is a state whereby polygamy is authorized and legalized. In Maryland, it's not, right? And the other states, right? In Africa, where we come from, it's legalized. And some people worship religions like Muslims and others whereby polygamy is legalized.
Right.
So when we want to talk, we should take into consideration the differences in ideology based on race, religion, culture, background, because it will be biased to make any pronouncement from a professional angle or from any other angle without consulting these factors. That's why most of us have to still take jurisprudence and ethics courses if you're a lawyer or a therapist. Look, I'm coming. I want to come to that question. Now, the issue is, normally, on a platform leveling, cheating, so far as a relationship is concerned, is forbidden. And it doesn't mean whether it's a man or a woman. You guys need to be committed in that relationship. If it doesn't work for you people, then you go decide and go elsewhere. Because if you guys did not love yourself, there was no reason for you people to be together. Point blank. Thank you.
Do you? Wait, I have a question.
Okay.
No, but I have a question. Let me ask a question.
Okay.
Wait. Dr. Santos, do you know that some therapists will recommend that people go to the swings club and cheat their
That's what I was saying.
They recommend it as therapy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
That's
it's
why
true.
I'm telling you that if that therapist did recommend, it seems as if the therapist has understood the background from where that person is coming from.
Okay,
If
right.
you are coming from a polygamous background in Africa, for example, excuse me, someone coming from a polygamous background, right, and that feels that it's right, that there they practice multiple relationships, right? And the therapist dig into the archive through information gathering and discover that that is a hidden pleasure that these guys have been yearning for.
Right.
It gives them that authority to do it so that they can be.
I understand. Why is it that when the woman does it,
Ask your question.
it's okay with it?
But when the woman does it, it's wrong. When
First
the
of all,
man
first
cheats,
of all,
it's
who said
fine.
That's why I was saying that it's
but
not
there's
okay.
a question
Some
that I-
cultures,
No, but
like where we are from,
No, that's not
when a
fine.
woman does
We
it,
were
with
talking about
if-
here in America.
no, where he just brought in culture, religion, and everything.
Right.
Like when in America, where we are
Yeah,
at,
culture
we are
here.
from Africa. Like I'm from Cameroon. If you cheat
When
on
you
your
see-
husband and they find out a taboo, but if the man cheats on you and you know, they praise him. It's a normal for the man.
No, they don't
They're looking at it as normal for the man.
They don't
I
praise
think
it.
the premise of this
They-
question should
they don't really praise it.
we have to figure
It's just
out
that
what
it happens.
do we
But that's
understand
the
that
principle.
this is a monogamous situation, or is this a situation that could potentially be, because the question
Correct.
is dependent on what the
What you say,
situation
what
is.
you
Which
tell
is
So
what he
basic,
said.
so if I were to think about this, so to pose the question to you, right?
Yes.
Let's assume, for all intents and purposes, that this is a monogamous relationship, and then the man steps out. How do you answer the allegation that men are less likely to be forgiving of women who cheat in a space where
I
it is-
can give you a reason why people believe that men supposed to be usually. We tend to see that it's okay for men than women. Why?
Right.
Because it's being proven that the way men see sex is different than how women see sex.
Okay. Which is what? Which is how?
Which is how.
So do we have a segue into sex now?
I'm not,
I've been
no,
waiting.
because when you talk about, let's be serious.
How do you see
Because
It's a segue
it's
into sex. Let's go.
proven that for women to get into that
We're
act
getting bored anyway.
in
We need to talk
general
about sex.
is more emotional.
No.
They need to
Not
put.
always.
Can you allow people to talk?
I was just.
The women put more emotion into the act,
Okay.
but while the men put a physical action into the act, and therefore it's two different ways. That's what I've learned. It's two different way of doing it. That doesn't mean that it's right, for sure. But I'm just giving
Yeah,
the
and
reason
he's
why
right, though.
people
He's
have
right.
that view
It doesn't
of.
mean that it's right.
It's not doesn't mean
That's
you're
the
right.
happen-
That's
But
what
it-
we-
You're not
everything
tying
is-
into the question though. You're explaining to me what men.
Restate the question. Wait, you're not getting it.
Let
Restate
me-
the question.
What's the
Suzanne.
question? What's the
So,
question?
in my understanding, the question is why do men not forgive women who cheat? It has nothing to
that's
do
why-
with the
that's-
act
I
of sex.
forgive
and
them all the
whether-
time.
Because
That doesn't mean the answer.
no. You said the response that men have to sex versus women have to sex.
Yes.
You're not tying it back.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you?
I can't. He did explain. He said the reason is because society tends to.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's why you missed the prelude.
So they don't forgive because women go into
Because
emotions.
society has this notion
That's
that
right.
men perceive sex
No,
differently.
they are not. The question was, why will men not forgive women that cheat?
Because
Okay.
he believes that you have
emotions.
Yes,
That's
what
it.
he's
But you didn't say that. You just explained women have more emotions than men.
That's where you saying that's why they get upset.
Now the point just came out.
he said it.
No, but it's fine, it's fine. So now we know that he said it. So.
Okay, now we understand it, but that's really not true. It's not everyone that goes and have sex. And women to have one night stands and don't
That's
care.
why
Just
these
use their body language.
generalizations are not.
Okay,
That's why
but
I
then the thing
said
is
that
we
it's
cannot-
not correct.
There's always
There was
pro
a
and a con to
disclaimer. There was a disclaimer at the beginning of this conversation that we cannot personalize everything.
Right.
But there is if there is a 75% above, and
Okay, so say
and
why
I think then it would
That's
be
why
tip to the scale.
it's
There's
important to
always a minority fraction that does not fall into
Because-
popular opinion.
Okay.
Like when you say men are dogs, does it mean all men are dogs? No, but
Yeah.
will a woman want her man to be a dog? No.
And I just wanted a clarification because my
Well,
instinct
you
wants
don't
to
want to, you
defend
don't care
If
the
the
man.
that.
I
because
don't
I
care.
don't
No, we don't
understand.
care. The man is
Good.
the man.
Most
You're
men.
taking care of your household, keeping everything together, and I'm getting that plane to go the ticket traveling where I just live my life and you're
so
leaving.
you-
I'm fine with it.
Right
No,
now.
I'm actually like no.
Okay.
We went somewhere else. I was just giving her an answer to
I
where
would
we
say
went.
that. Yes.
Sorry, to follow up your response, right? Now switch it around the other way. Women. Why are women more likely to forgive a man who cheated on her?
Girl, I have
Because we're
kids
told
with
that
him.
that's how
and
men
he-
are.
See, but that's what I'm saying.
Are you asking him? To
No, I'm just
answer
I'm
you?
posing the question like,
This is
okay,
asking
what is
women.
because
He's asking
his
women.
explanation was that
Right.
because
Women's
they're
emotions.
just mad because we had to be that much emotionally invested to go out and find another man to do the deed with, right?
Yes.
So the guy's like, I can't believe she got that invested in that other guy.
Uh-huh.
So why is the woman on the other hand, he went and did the same thing, maybe it was a physical act. Why do we go, you know what? He did that, but you know, there's other things to consider.
I think in your
You
question
just answered
lies
the
in your
answer.
question
You
lies
just
the
give the
response.
answer.
You just gave the response.
You just answered.
The
That's why.
question. Your response, basically you answer the question by saying
No,
that
like-
we are more likely to forgive because we know that we're not. Women are emotionally invested, and men are not emotionally
But what
invested.
is that
And
though? That's what I'm saying. Like, what is inherently the reason
Why women will
behind-
forgive?
But that's
Right.
what
It's
that's what
different. I'll
that,
forgive for
you
so
just
many-
you just answer yourself.
That's you.
You just
Some
said
women will.
that why do some women after the man cheat on them
Right.
just see that okay he got other things that are better than that we can let go the fact that he step out and he's back to me.
right?
That's what
because he's not emotionally invested.
That's
Again,
right.
is the
No,
answer.
That's
no,
your
it's not
answer.
that.
think
It's
so.
not
But
that.
there are some people who
Eh,
are
No,
emotionally
majority of
invested.
women is a
Yeah.
lie. Majority,
Because
statistics
you have
show
cheaters.
that majority of women.
And then you have women who stay in those relationships for a really long time.
Statistics.
Even though they're constantly cheating on them and they don't leave.
Let me
That's
tell
what I
you,
understand.
statistics shows that.
They don't know what they want.
No, statistics shows that
So is it
most
because
of
they don't know
those
who
women.
they are? Is it because they don't know who they are? Is it because they don't know who they are? I can tell you can bring every problem here and I will answer
I'm
it
not
with know
saying
yourself.
no, you're not getting me. I wasn't
Yeah.
even disapproving.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to
just
say
trying to
is
help
that
us.
you are being too personal. But even me,
No,
I
I'm
see
just
your
kidding,
point.
though,
Okay,
Margaret.
me and for real, whatever you're saying, I really see your point because to me, I've come to realize that is what you personally discover who you are, what you really want,
Yeah.
and then because you can't change somebody,
Yeah.
you can only change how you see somebody.
Thank you.
So if you don't do those things, don't expect that change will come from one day and just come. But what I was trying to say here is that he said something like, she asked a question, okay, women, why is it that women forgive quickly? Let me tell you, okay, I have friends. One of my friends, to them, that's not a problem because she thinks he wasn't emotionally invested. Might be somebody like me, I can't take it. You might think, I don't like a man that talks too much. If he gossips about me, that's a deal breaker for me. Everybody have their point. You understand? So, but majority of women think, and which is not wrong, men could just go. We think men are weak. A man could just go by and a woman comes around and just open it up and give it to him.
Doesn't mean-
Then he's not thinking. I didn't say it's right.
I know.
So
I
in
didn't
other words,
say
I would
it's
say
right.
what a woman wants is for a man to always be thinking right.
Think
Yeah,
straight.
like,
Think straight.
What
Think straight.
Your head should not be.
Diane, what I'm just trying to say is that I didn't say it's right or you are supposed to.
No, I
But what I'm
understand
saying
it.
is that I can begin to forgive him because of the situation he found himself in.
I
That's
find
what I'm
myself in
trying
that
to
situation
say.
all the
And
time.
I'm adding something to you because I'm coming here today.
I'll use
I
it
went
to
and
give
read
you a
something
license.
about those researchers, and it was said by the guy's name, John Bowman, and his research is how to find what make happy relationship happy. And his answer is not to be judgmental, but try to find out why your partner have done something that you didn't like.
Right.
And by doing
It's
that,
not also-
you will see at the end how to understand what happened and help him getting to where you want him to be. And that was very, for me, reading that is helpful.
So
Anytime.
It boils down to
that
knowing
sounds like
yourself.
everything I'm saying.
But because, and it goes to the same, to both people. Don't judge the person, but try to understand the person.
In everything, yours was just narrowed. I'm
No,
sorry.
because it looks narrow, right?
just
But-
want
no, let me tell you.
to-
If I ask you right.
Let
Let me ask you right. Let me ask you right.
On so many points,
Let me
but
ask you
you were
something.
just like direct.
So but if I ask you that,
person will not get
how
your
many,
point.
how many, if I say to you, I have one piece of land, you can build maybe 100 houses on. I'm telling you, because there's one common denominator, and it's the self. I don't care where you go, no matter what you do, in relationship, life, work, whatever, the self is the common denominator.
Yeah, but
Without
it's
knowledge
not-
of self, and knowledge of self will, in truth, will lead you to love of self. Love of self
Of course, I know.
is what determines whether you will be loved.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
End of story.
In
Because
all of-
without that,
Without that,
you will dance around this
Can I-
fire.
Okay.
and come back to
Yeah,
it.
guys.
But you know what?
That's
Let's
when
get
you
back to
love
the
yourself and you know, and then
Thank
now
you.
you find okay, I get
Thank you.
You're
I've been
eliminating
in a
something.
relationship with somebody that meant
Can I
everything
say-
that you wanted, and then all of a sudden they are not that kind of person. Does it mean you stop knowing yourself?
You
Let me-
reassess
I
again.
I wish I could go into my own personal.
Don't go to your
Sorry,
own.
right?
That would be after.
No, because when I can tell you that when you embark on a journey into your own self, right? There's so much that will come your way and will not even touch you. And you will forgive so easily and be friends with the same person who had done this or that to you.
Can I ask you a
And
question?
it's just true.
Can I
Right?
ask you a
But I'm
question?
just telling you that the reason I'm saying is that
He's too deep
the reason I'm saying that is that a lot of these
Can I
a
ask
lot
you a
of
question?
relationships, there are so many self-esteem issues,
Yeah.
right, amongst women, right?
Just came.
Yeah,
You say among women. You
issues.
say
that was
among-
what I
No,
said.
no. Let me tell you, the man is insecure. The women is self-esteem. It's the truth. You can narrow it down to that. The man his woman's gone out of the house. He's insecurity. He doesn't feel as though he has enough to make her come back, and so he wants to control. The woman is insecure. She may feel like most. And again, we're not saying it's a one answer for us. Generally, it's just most. She's insecure, so every little thing, it's making her question her own
Self-worth.
worth.
I told you.
You're right on that.
And all this is because we don't know ourselves. When I say ourselves, I'm not talking about your physical body, your true
we know that.
self,
We
right?
know that.
Once you
We know that.
know your true self
do
and you
know
know
that.
that you are not there in the eyes of the Creator, there is no error in you, right? In that you are perfection, then your self-esteem will fall off.
Do you
And-
believe
and
that? Do you
insecurity
believe
will
that
fall
there's a
off.
certain level of
Can I ask a question?
sacrifice
That's
required?
Once you know yourself,
That's not perfection. No.
You're not. Knowing yourself doesn't rid you from pain.
Thank you.
Knowing yourself doesn't mean you're not gonna get hurt.
It makes you understand pain.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand pain, you can't deal
You will
with
pay.
pain.
Thank you.
But the thing is, like she's trying to say, it doesn't eliminate all those things. But then there's also the other person that you're dealing with. In the human flesh, you cannot isolate those things.
No, what I'm saying is, no, listen.
You know
Why
how
would you
you
want to
know
eliminate
it's not
that? It
asking
is
you to
part of your
isolate
evolution.
Exactly. He's
Your
not asking you
problems
to
are there
isolate.
for you to grow,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
To learn,
The
right?
things to
Right.
come
So
your
why
way.
would you want a perfect
So,
thing
okay,
anyway?
but no, but
Well, I have a
no,
question for
I
you.
think- so go ahead.
Where does sacrifice of self in a union come into play with your
No,
Yeah.
okay, there's no sacrifice of self.
Are you
That's
kidding
not
me?
possible, though.
No, why would you
Why would you
sacrifice?
sacrifice yourself for
Give me
somebody?
one scenario why you have to sacrifice. Give me
Why would you
one.
compromise,
Just
not
one
sacrifice?
Just give me one scenario why you
In a
want
Can
to.
the compromise
relationship,
come without
in a
sacrifice?
union-
No.
There's a whole different compromise, not sacrifice. If you're saying compromise, it's different. If you're saying sacrifice, I will never
Okay,
sacrifice.
let's talk even about the
sacrificing.
Let's talk
No,
even about the
different thing.
We have not heard your
You can
voice.
compromise without sacrificing. I won't sacrifice myself,
Let me go
but
back
no
and
man.
just-
So the only person who would
Let me ask you a question.
Everybody come back.
Everybody has the question.
Let me
Let's
ask
get
you a
back to
question.
focus. Let's get back to focus. Yes, bro.
I wanted to ask my brother a question.
Yes.
Okay, you know yourself, right? I've known myself. But after knowing yourself, without knowing the other person, and then there's a conflict of interest, how do you resolve that issue when you have already known yourself and not knowing that person's self and how that person is going to react to your solution, whether it's the best for that person? Because I'm asking this question because in a family system, when couples get married, right, they have unexpected things that will surface. Childbirth is one. There's a third party now that divides that love between the couple. Somebody is taking that love away a little bit. The husband or the father turns to pay part of that love that was definitely entirely meant for the wife is now shifted to the baby, right? You start planning now on how to invest for the family. Your wife now sees herself as a mother, and also her own family start to bug her. They need this, they need that, right?
That's assuming that you're going to
Yes. Okay. Now, the resources, if they are limited and they cannot be divided in all these areas, something happens now that we call identification projection, whereby it's a union, but split interests have developed in family systems. And now, my job as a therapist is mostly to pull those interests and put on the table for us to discuss and resolve them. Then that issue is resolved. But if I have known only one party self, or if I'm focusing only on one person knowing his or herself, this problem becomes irresolvable. So I'm asking the question to you: how do you resolve a problem that you know yourself, but you don't know the other factors?
I can answer. If I could, it'll be very short. Because knowing yourself leads you to this. It requires, you can't know yourself if the ego is in the way. In order to know your true self, you have to destroy your ego.
Your ego.
Right? The ego is a big problem because it gives you false projections. If you destroy your ego, now you're down to yourself. Your true self now will force you to look into your own faults first. And I guarantee you, if you have a problem with your man, and he comes in and says, "Baby, this is what I did that. So let's talk about it." You will be more than likely, probably 100%, to sit down at that table. But if he's coming to you first with what you did, then
That's a clash.
so the reason why I'm saying that knowing yourself is important, because first you have to look at what did you do and wrong, accept it, own it, be accountable, apologize, and then go to the other person and
So
say,
I guess
understand, right?
when we read,
But if the other person is not willing to do the same, then you can know yourself and then go to them. You will still meet.
in
You will meet a
context
roadblock.
of
You
the
will meet a roadblock.
conversation,
That's why
in
each
context
person
of
must
this-
know themselves before
in context of
in
this
the sense of their
conversation,
true self.
therefore, I think it's fair to say that what we are desiring from each other is a level of growth, right? You want people to have aspired to a certain level of growth and maturity, understand yourself better. But the truth is that in the real world that we are
Nobody
facing,
talks like that.
those people, yes,
That is
no,
exactly
but
why
no,
we
some
have
people-
70%
Don't
divorce
talk like
rates.
that.
That's what
That's
I'm
different.
Yeah.
That's like-
So it's fair to say though that
Yeah, got you.
yes.
I would have to follow up on you too.
No, I want to say, I've heard a lot of things like you said, and I agree with you, but it's not reality.
Thank you.
In most relationships, personally and what I've seen out from others, men will say a lot, you know, oh, you're just being insecure. Oh, you don't know yourself.
Some men.
Those are excuses. Hold on.
I know.
Those are excuses that they throw at you to keep you at bay when they're actually doing the wrong thing or they don't have interest or whatever, right? So I think from all of that, what I've discovered and what I think is what I want and what I think most women want is you want somebody who spends time with you, who enjoys like going out with you, who enjoys like when they want to go out, you know, you're going out with them.
Enjoy your company.
Enjoy your company, exactly. Like being with you is not a burden. Like hanging out with you is not like a problem for them. And through that time spent together, you get to know each other, right? You get to figure out if this is going to work or not. But when you start coming now with, you know, I need for you to know yourself first, like that's not realistic for me because you know how long it took me to know myself?
Well, it's okay.
I don't know.
It's not so simple. It's not you simplify it too
follow
much.
up. I was the one out. Yeah, just
No,
a minute, sis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What I want to, going back to you saying that I know myself, okay. I don't know all those awareness and stuff.
Okay.
What I always get caught up, I get caught up in this. I know myself so much, okay. I don't blame myself, or I blame myself, and then we are evolving. I understand you. I know, might be, if I didn't do this, you won't do this. I try to forgive. I try to leave open, wake up, meditate, do all those good stuff. But how do I help it if you are still doing those things? Okay, maybe we can say I'm living in the past. I bury emotions. Maybe I try to unravel them. And then I'm still not getting to the point of loving you. You understand? So how do we handle it then? Are you trying to still tell me that I still don't know myself at that point?
So my question to you is that my question will be to you is a very simple question for you, right? My question to you is there are two things on the table. Your relationship or your happiness, which do you want most? I'm going to ask you.
Of course, and
Yeah,
why
okay.
can't
And
you
so
have both?
I'm going to ask
Why
you.
can't you
I'm
have
going
both?
to ask you because I'm going to tell you there is an obsession with marriages and relationships, even when they're toxic and they go against our very soul. And we feel we have to. That's why we don't subscribe to that philosophy of in marriage, do it, that, do us part. Absolutely nonsense.
Why is it nonsense?
It's my opinion.
Can I interject? I think it is definitely attainable. But what it takes that you're against is losing yourself, even just for a little bit. And that's what I was talking about when I said sacrifice. You cannot coexist with another individual without losing a little bit, because that's going to come a place
to me,
where you both are going to come head to head, and one person's going to have to give up.
You cannot lose. Losing yourself is absolutely the worst thing
I'm not talking about change.
Compromising is one thing, but to say that I should lose myself for another human being is absolutely, I'll lose myself for a creator, but for another human being,
You're taking it
not
out.
happiness.
Let me ask you one question. Let me ask you what you're saying for me, okay? It's not possible if you want to be in a relationship. By thinking about knowing yourself. Nobody, it will be even difficult. You know Jesus or God to know yourself.
But that's what we want to do.
Now, yeah, but that's what people want. We're talking about, we want to be our best.
Right.
You cannot completely be at your best.
By yourself.
Can you allow me to finish, please? Can you please allow me to talk, please? You can't know yourself completely and say, I know myself. No. But when you're in a relationship, okay, the little that you know about yourself, you allow the other partner, okay, to show you herself so you can know her and see how you can compromise based on what you want and based on what she wants to make it perfect. And the question that I want to ask you is what? Have you ever had a girlfriend and she wants to go to a movie and you don't feel like going to the movie, but she asks you, let's go to the movie, and you just get up and go with her? Have you ever done that?
That's not losing myself.
No, I just no.
But
Can
can
you
I ask
That's
you-
compromise.
Can you please?
Can I phrase that? Can I phrase that in
Excuse me.
another question?
Excuse me.
I
ask
have,
you a
and
question.
I understand.
Have you done that? Have you done that?
It's compromise.
Okay.
Because I know at another time I'm going to make this compromise. Yeah, no.
If you happen to do that once, that means that you happen to lose yourself
No.
in the
In that
bond
No.
to allow
No.
her. So you're telling me that when
So you're telling me that when you go out of your way to help someone,
But that's
it's
what we're talking about.
No.
Go out of your way.
No.
That's what you
No,
because
it's compromise, not losing yourself. It's
Can I
compromise.
you compromise. That's right. But why would you compromise?
yourself.
But-
Can I phrase
but-
that in a question?
No, but the point is, but that's what I'm going back to his point. This is
Diaga, you-
No, that's
Oh,
not
no,
what
that's
he
what he
told.
said.
Please, you guys should moderate on this.
No, but that's not what he said. The guy is trying to
Okay,
play
go ahead.
for
I wanted to
gentlemen.
ask you something.
Calm down.
Clearly, this is a heated debate.
I told you not to invite me here.
I love that you came.
Because
We are all
I just don't see.
No, I love that representation of what we And we see are all in society. If we had identical minds in the room, it would not be representing our
That's right.
various views. That the point of having a debate is to bring different people, different schools of thoughts, and then let's see how we can reason this thing out. Is there even a common ground? And clearly, we're seeing that as much as we want to believe that it's all about being individual, knowing yourself, or being individualistic, everybody's still trying to zone in on the self. Like it boils down to my personal desires, right? But I'm just trying to say, in context of the debate, what do we want from each other? I think while it's true that when you go to, as an individual, you have your own things that you look for. Dialogue is certainly important, but across the table from each other, what we seek in those things. And again, I say, I think the best way to approach this topic is when I give you the questions.
Yeah,
And when we just throw it out like that, I think women desire quality time. The men say they want to be left alone. You know,
Sometimes.
that's one of the things that they said, that in their lives, they said they want to be left alone. So how do we come to a middle ground? You're coming, the man seeks the woman's attention, he courts her, says, I want you to be my life. Then you're in his life, and then he wants to be left alone.
I want her with me all the time. I don't know what he said.
No, so but you
70%
saw,
of men.
yeah.
No,
No, I'm just saying that you went most 9 out of 10
Got to be
times
my
is the
friend.
man courting the woman, right? So he's pursuing the woman, says, I want you in my life, and then one of the requirements is, I really want you to leave me alone. So
For some time.
so women tend to have, I think it's a problem for women sometimes because they're saying, you wanted me and now you wanted me out of your space again. What does a man really mean by leave me alone? And a woman is saying, I'm trying to spend this time with you because you came after me, you were pursuing me all this time, and now I'm with you, and you're trying to not really have me around. How can we have
Let me try to stand for the man. Sometimes, wait, let me tell you, sometimes the women are overbearing. It's too much. You cannot be texting me every 5 minutes, every 2 minutes, and you expect him to be replying. You cannot be in the house and want to watch football game. You want both of you to watch Housewives. You have to give the man a little bit of space, a breathing space. Some women choke. When I say choke the man, and the man wants breathing space. Some women really need that time to spend on.
Right, okay, did you conclude?
Are you finished?
No, okay, let me finish. Some men too fall that they don't want to give some women the time, but majority of the time is the woman.
Okay.
Okay, that is such a drastic conclusion to me.
Right.
It's also a conclusion that men want to be left alone. That's the question.
First of all, let me say something to what she's saying. She's saying that some women are like up to you. First of all, that to me, a nagging, that's a problem. So she has a problem.
Thank you.
No, I'm not saying, so don't bring that like it's a normal woman.
You are not saying
No, you cannot say that.
But
you
normal
are
men
now
don't
trying
want
to
to be
scatter
left
the
alone.
question.
That's your
Who said normal men wanted to be like
Okay, now we're not making that like we're not talking of a normal situation. You just asked the question.
Right.
And let's not try to break it if it was normal or if it was having problems, fracture it. We'll go back to start quarreling.
You have men that even the woman don't want him and her and him to watch Housewives, but he is never there every day in the secret, even when she is not. That's what she was trying to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, that's no. I don't know.
I'm not.
I'm not in her mind. I'm not in her mind. I never did that. Was what you were saying. If that's what you are saying.
I was saying something and then you just interrupted when you were saying. What I'm saying is that you're blaming that woman who is nagging, and I'm trying to tell you.
So we've heard from you. We've heard from you.
Generalized questions.
We've
I'm going to have different generalized questions.
Let me inject
like that.
some.
Will lead to answers like that.
Let me inject something into this conversation.
Finally,
In the course of you guys, or all of us here having this conversation, I reflected on a very important studies that I went through, and that was to know how the men and the women differ from each other. We have a lot of research work that has in brain studies that has indicated that we call it this concept of Celsus colassum. Celsus colassum is a part of study in brain studies that has discovered that the men and the women were they were made differently, and they have different brain structure. And the men are more horizontal in even vision, and the women are vertical. And our brain formation is different, and that's why we think in certain aspects the way we do. The women are more multitasking than the men, and the women, fortunately, are more intelligent and wise than the men. And the men will not be happy to hear that.
But it is a fact. It's not even
They're
debate.
multitasking, they're smart, and they're more. You can do multiple things and can only multiple things. That's brain studies. You're listening for the psychologists for research. Okay. Now, secondly, that's why we happen to come across differently. But the important thing is that we need one another. The unity, the force, the unity of one another makes something magical to happen. And that's why we just try to learn, to try to accommodate each other, and also to try to perfect each one another, complement one another, and try to look at the places where one is down and fill the void so that we can move together. When it comes to this aspect of quality time, sometimes you draw attention. When subjects like this come, the first thing is I go to my experience of 18 years. What happened? Did I spend quality time? I spent a lot of quality time when we had no kids. Well, like from nightclub, Ayaba, everywhere, going to Douala to nightclub, sleeping in expensive hotels in Bafusam, everywhere. But when children started coming in, quality time has to reduce. When investments start coming in, quality time reduces. But it doesn't go away. At least you must create that time to go out. It depends on what is quality time. Somebody's quality time is just to go to an expensive restaurant and eat. Yeah. Somebody is to take a plane to Paris and
Five love languages.
Somebody is to go to Hawaii. So, some people ask for quality time without looking at their family budget, without looking into the necessities, priorities, and excesses. You can't kill a man for quality time.
Right?
And a woman, and some men too who are not working, who depend on the woman to ask for quality time, so much expensive kind of things, and the woman will not be able to provide, and then the relationship has affected. So it's either ways, but I think let us work according to our means to make sure that the relationship work where we want to put. Those are extras.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you think we should have a conversation on how we can have our quality time?
I love the conversation.
When and where
you need
decide.
to have. Each partner needs to have a conversation with the other about their quality time.
So I think that's fair to say that basically, I think this conversation just boils down to you meet someone, what women want is to be able to have the man listen to what she wants. Like if she says this is what I wants in this relationship, the man should also, or the man brings his wants. And then you then figure out what would be a middle ground for this individual relationship, this particular relationship. And of course it will vary from the relationship with Joe versus relationship with Peter or whatever, right? So Kenji, you had something to
Well, I was.
oh, and Kenji, okay. Go ahead.
Well, you know, I just think women right now, the comment you made about women being stronger, being more intelligent, and it's this point I've been pushing along forever. Right? Women don't even know their strength. They don't even have, they only know maybe 10% of their true worth. When the real woman emerges, all relationships will come back, because the man will see that he cannot even continue without that. Right? But the issue is that today, so many women are already defeated because, I don't know, men have been, and there's so many scars and everything, right? But when I look to, and I am attracted to strength. I cannot stand weakness in a woman, because I look in my family and I see I just look around. All the grandmothers are still alive. All the grandmothers are dead and gone. And the grandmothers gave birth to maybe 15 children, yet they stand. Where are the grandmothers?
But is that physical strength? Or
no, it is that physical strength is just a representation of her mental strength. Okay. So so to me, you know, and they give birth to children and they still are standing. So to me, we are looking for that in women today.
Okay.
Right? And strength is not power.
Of course.
You know what I mean? To me, it's not. It's not that
you
you go and dominate a man. The greatest power in this room is as still as everything. It's in the. You don't even feel it, but you plug this thing in there, and every light comes on.
Right.
You're looking at male and female energy at work right now. The female energy is the wall.
Right.
The male energy is the socket. He plugs in there and then he lights up.
Right.
That's the penis, the vagina, it's the same thing.
Right.
But that wall has the women now, they have no power, so we plug in there, lights are flickering. So please, I am begging the women, go back to the source, and I really know the low self-esteem will disappear.
Can I say something?
And the children will be the better for it. The children will be the better for it. The men will come back.
What men want from women is that women go back and find and rediscover.
We want our grandmothers, the women we saw growing up. That's strength.
But is it fair to say
No, I'm just
that
saying.
the thing is that we are also coming from a society. No, but is it fair to say that we're coming from in today's society, the woman is not really that woman though. Today's woman, because the woman today has inherited a lot of adversity, a lot of oppression, a lot of negativity, a lot of judgment on her, and they've put her in this place that
Yet she stands.
That's
That's what Maya Angelou
fighting for
wrote
their
Yet
rights.
she rises,
Yes.
right?
And I take personal, where I agree with you 120%, where I find a little bit of a kink is the perception that women don't know their strength. That is what she's saying is we have come with all of this baggage, as to put it simply, and the misconception is that we are not aware of our worth. And unfortunately, there are women out there, which I think you should define. There are a specific category of people. Right, I understand that. But like, there are people who don't understand, or women who don't understand what they bring to the table. But to say that women inherently don't know
like
that,
the same men,
I mean,
it's generalizations. The same like men
We
want to
go
be
with the
left alone.
majority.
No, I understand that.
Right.
But what I'm trying
So
to
some
say,
women. Some women.
Some women, is that's
I guess the key word is
That's
some.
all the problem.
So for every statement that is made, we're
It's
always
some.
referring to a
Okay.
subsection of, but it's a minority. Where what is generalized, we're referring to a majority segment of that population that maybe carries that opinion. It still goes back to what you're saying, that it's not that women don't understand their strength. It's that they understand it, but their strength, we have so many forces that have been working against us. And that's why you have a lot of the women's revolution, they're fighting for their rights, they're doing all of those things. It's because they understand that we have all this power, but we've been stifled, right? by the laws that have been against us. They're not favoring us. So many things. And women are having all these conferences and trying to rise up and looking for equality at the job site, the Me Too movement, the rapes and all of that. So many things have worked against women.
And by men, actually.
By men.
By
There's
men.
only two species on this
That's
earth.
exactly what I was trying to
By
say.
men,
If
yeah.
women have been oppressed, they've been oppressed by men. Clearly.
By men.
It's not by other women. Granted, that maybe, let's say, injustice on a job could be maybe other women, not necessarily allowing the growth of other women. Yes, but that is, again, wasn't a minority. But when we are talking about all the injustices that have happened to women is by men on the women. And so we're fighting until women can have that equal playing field. Then they can now assert. So right now they're fighting this thing. So they're fighting from the bottom. When they get to out of the bottom, then now they can apply all this energy that is rightfully theirs.
We need you guys, though.
Is it fair to assume that even just at the very basis of the perception that you know how we're talking about the inherent baggage, and how hard it's been for women over the years and how we're just now starting to rise up and build. In my opinion, even the common perception that we are not aware of who we are as women, I think that's part of the problem, which is the point I was trying to make.
Yeah,
is that I'm not talking about whether it's a generalization of women or not. That's not the point I'm making. I understand when we're talking in general context. But what I'm trying to say is that perception in itself is part of the problem. The reason why we're perceived as weaker is because we have been put in positions of weakness over the years that we're just now starting to overcome. Men are now starting to, if you ask an African man from, I don't know, 1960 or something, I don't know. If you ask them the woman's place, they will tell you, if you went to my grandfather, he'll tell you that she's supposed to be cooking for him. His mentality was, this is what women
And that's why
supposed to
people
be.
have problems with maybe with in-laws, mother-in-laws, because they're coming from, this is what I did with my husband. How come my daughter-in-law is not doing this? So the growth has not transcended.
So that's what I'm saying, is in order for that to happen, we need to start shifting from a position of women don't know their worth, because we do.
Well,
We should recognize it and build on
in
it.
the sense that when I say go I know this is probably different from the main topic at hand, but in the sense that, like, you say you meet a genius and he's work, and you see right away that this genius here could do so much more, right? But the genius is, it's not that you're saying that they don't. You see so personally, I see so much more in them than most of them see in themselves.
I applaud you for having that.
So that's what I mean by that. Because when I look at my own opinion, I have the men were a male energy, they're action, but the women, they did so much more without even being seen.
Right.
That is the true essence of a woman's power, right? Like you don't see
In a
them,
way,
but everything is happening because of them.
While your
And we
statement
need that
sounds
back.
complimentary, it could also, in a more critical way, it stands like,
I see how you can
patronizing.
see that.
It almost sounds patronizing, like, I see that, all these women, I can't tolerate this. It almost sounds like, I understand, but these women, all these women, it's almost like, we feel empathy. But that's not what women want. They're not looking for necessarily empathy. We just want equal understanding. Let's just understand that this is where we are, but also take in context that in today's reality, this is what the average woman is dealing with. And if you want to look at it like this, the average black man in America today is dealing with something else. They're dealing with racial prejudices in society and stuff like that, right? Women have other things that we're dealing with as well. So I think when we come to a board, to the table in terms of relationship, people should understand these external factors as well, and understand that we are all dealing with certain things, and bring that to the forefront. Guys, let's try to, as we go towards the conclusion of this topic, right? Even though I don't know if we really
should be going. Let's go.
If we are really zone in on our wants, what we all wanted from each other, right? In terms of spirituality, is spirituality important in our wants? When you want it from each other, what we're wanting across the board, are we wanting you to be spiritually inclined? Is that a priority in your relationship choices and everything? Like you say, long distance, in terms of long distance, what are things that are there any odd factors when we're trying to deal with a long distance relationship? Is it even a practical thing? Should people date long distance? You know, are there things that affect those relationships, right? So there's so many things that we didn't really know that, and maybe as we go around, I want probably maybe everyone to just so 3 things that in today's reality that you think a man should desire from the other partner, from the counterpart, and without necessarily being specific about. I mean, it's okay to be specific, really. It's okay to be specific. Maybe the 2 questions just be general, but start thinking about how we wrap this up in terms of what would you be desiring from each other. But maybe before we get to that, how you would conclude this, maybe we can answer that one question that I
question of long distance.
Long distance, and what else?
Spirituality.
Spirituality, yes, faith is faith.
Spirituality is number 1 for me.
Okay.
Top. Not religion, spirituality.
And there is a difference.
Yes.
Major.
Big.
Okay.
Spirituality is top.
Will spirituality play, you know, if let's say you're that deep, I think first of all you would not even connect.
Exactly.
Just because I know that she's committed, spirituality makes her committed to living right,
You
being
connect with me, I'm
honest,
already
eating
connected
right, being kind to people, being
Yeah.
compassionate. Spirituality.
I think
He will connect with
She's
me.
on a spiritual journey.
I
If
think
you
that
met me,
then
we'll
those
connect.
things, I know.
you see, when you ask a question like that to us, I think each and everyone runs first to examine his or her relationship
Right.
to see what is best at
Okay.
this time. Because every one of us have one thing at this time in our relationships that we will want. Like for example, I would take number 1 to be visionary. My partner must be visionary. Visionary means foreseeing a developmental future and a plan.
Right.
Because I always think that I've not yet arrived where I want to be. And I need that person that has to help me to realize that.
Yeah.
So if you are not visionary, then I am visionary, I won't go anywhere.
Doc, if you may allow me, it contradicts with her point where she's saying she wants a man
That has a vision, that is going somewhere. So if the woman's want is that she wants the man to have the vision, and you're wanting her to have the vision, are we?
It's because
Are we at some point?
it's a
Because
compliment.
whose vision?
it's a
Whose vision?
compliment. Because I like the fact that he's visionary. So it's
a man and a
because
woman,
I am
they will
visionary.
need-
That's
they will
why I
need
wanted
each
a
other.
man to be visionary.
Good.
Yeah.
And if a woman is visionary, and a
That's
man
why.
is
That's
visionary,
why I would want
that
a
is a
visionary
very
man
strong
because I'm
possibility.
visionary.
But actually,
You understand?
I don't
one
think
person
that
can
that's a
be
strong
visionary
force.
and another person is dumb.
If both of them are
The man-
visionary,
I
they are
don't-
heading
Because
for.
if you want to start a business,
They will
you want to
collide.
start a
No,
business.
no, they will not
A
collide.
man and
Don't find somebody that has ideas.
Those
Find a
is-
doer.
Find
You are
doer.
the ideas person.
If they-
Make sure you partner with a doer.
If you
Because
both-
if both have ideas, you will
Ah.
have ideas for the next 10 years.
No,
But
Nobody-
that's why you can't
breaking
have
it
that
down.
idea.
That's
You're
breaking
different.
it. Visionary
And
don't
doesn't
do
mean that you
that.
have
Guess what?
idea.
Before you even
No,
first
that's what
of
I'm
all,
saying.
No, he-
first
That's
of
what
all,
he
you
said.
do know that he was saying that visionary, right?
See.
He want to do this, he want to do this. First of all, if I don't even start supporting you with my husband, to even begin to think that we are not going to go ahead and
Anyway,
No, but
you start with
supporting
a
him
thought.
because you don't need to be a visionary.
No, okay, wait. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Like,
example
first
of
of
what
all, if I'm like, I'm that kind of woman, like, I'm contented with whatever we have. Man, don't worry about that. We make money, we're good.
In other words, you don't
killing
want
it.
a dream killer.
I don't want a
That's
dream
more of a
killer.
dream killer.
Yeah, that's what
So what I'm saying is that I want to be, when you begin thinking, that's the beginning. The Didi Talks did not start just by her just coming here. She had a thought
vision.
about it. She had a vision about it. And then she committed it. She started taking a step each at a time. So what he's saying is that if he's a visionary, it don't have to break down that a doer and this and that. I have to be the one not to kill his dreams of being a visionary. So
Well, I thought
Which
you were-
says what he
but
said, that's a supporter.
That's what I'm saying.
Visionary,
that is-
he's saying,
anyway,
I
okay.
don't agree with it.
Well,
I think you're actually buying into his theory, but by saying that you're supporting it is actually being a supporter, not necessarily being
Yeah,
a
visionary,
I think a
exactly.
visionary is just saying that he wants a woman that can also say, babe,
There
you
is-
know, I'm thinking about this. Like that you can also
I'm thinking of
take your
something in 5
ideas.
years. I'm thinking of
You
something
can,
in
you
10
can also
years.
take what is
I'm
better
thinking
in
about
you
something.
and contribute to the
For
greater
example,
vision.
they always
But
ask you a
I think
question.
it's how you
Like, tell me about your life in 5 years.
Diane, I have not finished telling you my point. What I like in a man.
No,
I
we're
have not
not
finished. No, when I set a
No,
vision,
he was talking. You were supporting a point that he raised, right?
but you said it contradicts my point. So that's why I was saying.
Let me simplify it. Let me simplify it in this short form. We were asked, all of us in graduate school, for example, those of you who've been to graduate school, you are always asked in your mission statement or something, they say, tell me where you want to be in 5 years. They start growing you up not to think today.
Right.
Think of 5 years. So
If
I
we
want
can
that
just,
person
like-
that is mine in a relationship, the person I'm in a relationship with also to be thinking
Ahead.
ahead. So when you're thinking ahead, it means it's going to grow, it's going
Right.
to development.
Right.
And nobody does a relationship that is standing on its own.
That's not everybody.
I forgot your own
But
drink.
I
I
think
lose
at some
yourself.
point, I think at some point we need to hone it down. Let's quickly go around the table and for everybody to just verbalize whatever it is that they had to say. I want to hear like your summation of what it is that are your views in terms of what we want from each other. So you want to take a step at it, and then we'll just like up around. I know you had a question. Maybe you
Oh, no,
table
that's
it.
okay.
Okay. At some point we have to. Yeah. Yes.
So one from opposite, your partner. I would say we want affirmation, we want companionship, we want loyalty. Yeah, I think that's
You're consistent about.
yeah, I'm just about what I want.
it
Because
is that you want.
I know what I want. You know,
Right.
I know, and based on my experience, I know what I'm looking for. And it's I'm pretty direct about it.
Okay.
For me, it's of course support, which I mentioned earlier, but also trust and communication. I don't want to have to worry about where you are, what you're doing, and all these things. And I'm a big talker. I'm a big believer in say what you're feeling so that the person can understand and respond accordingly. And if you're not in line with that response, then you get to make a decision. So I'm big on communication and trust and support.
And trust is where maybe some people would say women nag because trying to find out where everybody is really constantly calling and all that may result to what people consider to be nagging. But it's really just a quest for accountability. I think if you just take upon yourself to say, okay, I'm going here, but it's not chasing down the person. If they tell you they're here,
Some people put GPS.
let them be where they say they are.
Phone
Yes.
GPS.
Monitoring agents. Okay.
There you go, Mr.
Can I say it for you? He needs to know himself.
So I'm going to read you a very short text that I sent to someone that I wanted to be in a relationship, right? So I care. I'm an open book, so right? If you commit to a healthy spiritual lifestyle in thoughts, in action as in altruism, in the foods you eat, in your body as in exercise, in your goals, in your commitment to studying your true self, in the nourishing of our children, if you will commit to love yourself first and foremost to the fullest, commit to your own ascension first, and then to mine and my family, then I'll date you. That is just real text.
That is deep.
So-
That is. I mean, I could understand, but trust me.
Well, then I don't want it.
70% of
Then I don't want it. That's my
You won't
problem.
have
Thank you.
Then I'm fine with that
You
because I
will
love
get that
myself.
person.
I just don't
You
get
will
it.
get the person. That thing's like,
Can we go around?
sorry, I'm married. I would have
I am happy to stay alone.
I get what he's saying.
I am
right?
very happy
But
by
how can you
myself.
text that to somebody like?
We should not.
They already
Come on, there's
friends.
a context to it. There's a context to it. So-
They already friends.
Yes. Let's hear from you.
Me,
Let's hear from you.
What I want in my partner, I want a friend, a friendship. It comes with a lot of things here. I want a friendship. I want you to support me, most importantly, financially. And then Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the most important thing. You have to be my friend. Friendship, meaning I trust you. I can tell you anything. Our communication is great. That's what builds up friendships. Our communication is great, and then I want that support, that emotional support. You're there, that financial support. Most importantly, that financial support.
Financial support
Okay.
is key.
Yes.
There we go.
Well, for me, what I want in a relationship is mostly, well, spirituality is number one. That's at the top. And then there's communication and respect. I feel like if you have communication and you have respect in a relationship, everything else can easily fall into place. Whether it's trust, whether it's, you know, the loyalty issues and everything. As long as there's communication and there's respect, we can use it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's faith, communication, and respect. Let's hear from the next.
To my point of view, the first thing would be love. And from the love, the first thing would be love, and then patience. Patience and communication, as she says, because with communication, any road can be taken together. So, love, communication, patience, and understanding. For those, everything can flow when you have all those four to my view.
Awesome. Love, communication. All right, John.
Well, he actually said like two of my points: love and communication, spirituality. I actually get where he's going. I believe it. I do stuff too. You know, no, you don't even. I believe. I know
I think it's
exactly.
time we wake up. We're all
Yeah,
asleep.
a lot of people are not awakened. They're not aware yet. That's what I would say. But what I would say is that what I really cherish in my man is he's adding value to our relationship.
Wow.
Why these keywords?
You know,
Wow.
he's helping us towards growth. You know, and I want my man to be macho, but not too macho. Put it down sometimes. Be vulnerable sometimes. You know, come to me sometimes and tell me, hey, this day at work, this happened. Let me help you too. Again, don't be a crybaby. I don't want that either. I want a man that is, how can I say it? You listen to me. You don't, when I'm talking to you, don't do different things. You know, show me that you're giving me your attention. You're listening. You understand? You're listening. At that pivotal moment that I'm crying, I want you to listen. Don't tell me, man, you women, you worry a lot. I want your attention. I want you. Care about me. Don't interrogate me. Don't keep telling me this and that and that. Listen, care. Listen, have a way you're talking to me. That term is going away, you know. And strangely, I also like a man that will be a man in a few words. I also like a man that will tell me that today, Harriet, not that you're controlling me. I just want to feel like you are not going out.
Take
today.
charge.
Take charge.
Take charge.
Trust me, I'm that woman that if you keep cooking me breakfast, and a lot of women, I will just go ahead, and then I take you like an errand boy. You're not really my main then. You understand? I want you to be a man in my house. You know.
That's what you want.
In our house.
And in our house. Sorry. And another thing.
Very observant.
Last but final one, you gotta be dapper. You gotta
baby.
dress
I
up.
know that one.
I want you to walk past that one. I'm like, baby, that's my man. You know, that's me.
That's what another women want, Joe. He gotta have swag.
Yeah.
I feel that. Should I say something?
I take please don't be upset.
No,
In response to him, like what he said about what he wants, and we came, and I'm not gonna be personal, right? But I'm gonna generalize it, right? You know, like there are certain like that. I had a certain feeling when I had him read that message with like that feeling of like, I know what it feels like when somebody's putting pressure on you, like you have to, this is what, I don't say that's what you were saying, I don't know, you know, but that pressure of like, you have to be like this, it has to be this way, we want you to do
okay,
this.
it felt like there was a mandate.
Yes. And for me, as a woman,
across.
when I'm meeting somebody and I'm talking to somebody, I want you to take your time to get to know me. Don't just come now like it has to be like this for you to. Like you don't even.
So you feel like you'll be living in a parameter, like
Yeah,
in rules.
I need to.
I guess he told you his expectations.
No, but that's
You know
actually
what
the,
it's
that's to be honest, that's actually the stuff, right? Because you
That's
have to in the beginning, you have to be really clear
Yeah.
Yes.
to the
I
other
told
person.
you,
No,
go back.
if I could just really finish right. And this is not like someone you just. In my context, it's not somebody who's mad.
Right, yeah.
It's a point where you guys are now okay. We've been seeing each other all this time. What are we doing? So that's within. That's why I said
Yeah.
it's a context.
Yeah,
within
yeah, I understand. Yeah.
the text context. So for me, and it's not to say you have to do this. If you, it's to say if you can commit to your own growth. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what it says. It's not saying if it's not that you can commit. You should do this or do that. Commit to your own growth. That means you promise me that every day you will try to be a better you.
Okay.
That's what that means.
That's fair.
And I
Let's do
think
it.
everyone should probably want
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Can I just say something to add to him?
Yeah. You gotta comment and then you can tell. I know you spoke the list.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My comment is even though he put some context into it, I'm still skeptical on seeing how this can work in a relationship where the person will still see a pressure, but because, just to tell you, because the person still want to have love for you, you just said you've been dating for a while and you put that in. The person can still want you and then will tell you just, okay, yeah, I commit. But at the end, you will realize that when you will start seeing things, and that's why most marriage don't go forward, because the person will say yes.
You're trying to be what you are not.
The person will try to fit what you're trying to make him do.
And that's why I say you,
And then
at
at
that
the
point
end,
you decide
we
what
don't go forward.
At that point, there's you come to
No,
the
but
fork
you
of the
can't do
road.
you say-
Your
you say
happiness
you commit,
or a
but
relationship.
at the end, it doesn't happen.
I choose my happiness every
Can I
time.
ask you a follow-up question about this happiness? Do you believe that the right person can impact significant change in who you are as a person?
Thank you. That is exactly the definition of a right person.
You have to give that
The
time.
person
You have to give that time.
who comes in your life and causes
No.
that makes you.
I feel like
That's exactly the definition of a right
Okay.
person.
All
You
right,
know when
so
they're right,
thank
when you
Yes.
look back and realize I was this way and I'm
KJ.
better today. That's
Thank
how
you.
you know they're
Thank you.
right.
Let's allow Doc to say it and then we can do that. I think everybody has had a fair. Oh,
Okay.
did you speak?
No,
No,
worry.
I think
Don't worry,
she
don't
you
worry.
spoke the list seriously.
No,
I want
it's
you.
okay.
I want to hear.
No,
No, she got
It's
her
okay, it's okay, it's okay. Let's doctor finish.
You had a flow.
No, it's okay, it's okay. Because I've lost my thought.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We'll come back. We'll
I
come
just
back.
realized you
Go
didn't
ahead.
say.
You mean conclusion now?
Is this
Yes,
a,
yeah,
is it
we're
a concluding
concluding.
remark?
Okay, okay.
Okay, for
Yeah,
me,
we
I
wanted
believe I
everyone-
just use this opportunity
Yeah, just
to
use-
do a
please use that.
concluding remark.
Yes. please.
The first thing is that I appreciate learning from each one of you today, because I think the greatest power of a resolution to a question, or the greatest energy that comes to resolve a hot issue, a debate, that is kind of debate, lies in the ability for us to look at things from each one another's perspective. I've learned a lot, especially from the styles of the United States, that it's not by coming here with literature to read. It is starting with your breakfast, talking about your breakfast in the morning and what happened in the house when you left and what you encountered in the road. That forms the topic of discussion for a geography or a history lesson. It's not about reading whether Charles II or Joseph II did this in history. Doing that, people refresh their brains and look at it. That the person that can talk best on a subject is a person who must not have had a successful relationship. Somebody with a sad relationship can become the best married counselor or the relationship counselor, because he'll be looking at what made him to fall or her to fall so that another person doesn't fall. Or rather than somebody who is more successful in it that may not know the other negative side. Or in other words, we used to say, the best drug addiction counselor or substance abuse
Former addict.
is a former convict of about 7 times DUI or substance abuse who have been in jail and becomes the best teacher in teaching you about drug and alcohol and other substances so that you do not fall in the same traps. So we have talked about some of the literature. We have gone into psychology. We have talked from experience. Some of us who have been 18 years in marriage. We're learning from the experiences of people who have not survived up to this time, who can be our teachers. And I believe that what relationship is first a vision that things will get better. The love and the understanding. Communication is key. Everything you have said here is key and important. But people have on what level are and who are the other actors. Don't forget the other actors around who have come as a consequence of this. Because the day you guys were coming together, you were just 2 of you, but now it's a whole village. So you have to look at the interests of all surrounding villages. And sometimes you put the so on that note, it was a nice conversation. I love this type of topics, behavioral topics, emotional topics, developmental and growth topics. And I'll always be here with Lady D. I've always been. I'm a frequent viewers that I pledge my unflinching support to Lady Diana for bringing up good subjects, and I will always be there to come and chip in from the books and from experience. So thank you, and thank you viewers for watching me. I'm Dr. Nick Santos.
Did you say for watching him? Yeah.
Watching me. Thank you viewers for watching me today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did your thought come back? No. All right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for an amazing. Huh? You had to go here. Okay. So, I want to thank you guys so much for sacrificing your time. I know this topic we went way beyond our scope, but it was that heated. It's a topic that I think we didn't even get a chance to read the comments. So to the audience, those of you who are watching, we apologize that we did not get a chance to address your comments, but with all the panelists here, I'm pretty sure that everybody will go back and look at the feed and try to respond to the comments. So I ask all of you to also go back and read the comments, and maybe some of the questions that the audience were asking were directly, it was specific to some of you, and so you can respond to your comments. But we will get to it. This is a conversation that needed to have maybe 2 or 3 more parts. But we have done a part 1, a part 2, and this was a part 3 with the men and the women on the table. This is evidence that indeed we can all come together and actually have a conversation. So whatever issue it is that you are having, I think is, be honest, come to the table, and if you dialogue, you can begin to have a solution and a headway. Women do have their needs and their wants, men also have a want list, right? What we have found out is that one common thing on the table is that communication is key, right? Spirituality is important, support, although a lot of people didn't talk about love, but I think it was embedded, it's a mutual understanding that love is also important. I'm surprised that a lot of the men don't talk about respect, but we're assuming that if you love them, you will respect them. The church says, you know, if you go by church says wives respect, honor, and submit to your husbands. And then they ask the man to love. So love is the responsibility of the man. Woman, your responsibility is to respect
and treasure
and honor him. But anyway, it's not an event. Oh yes. I think I may want to give you the floor to talk about your event. So he has an event. No, we're just another meeting. So Morel was here. He also has an event. A lot of the speakers here have their platforms, individual platforms. He does VIP Socio, which is a social event platform that you may want to support. Bianca has 5 Sisters boutique.
Black Friday event.
Okay, so it's a Black Friday sales at your boutique, right?
Yes.
And so follow Five Sisters. And then Morel has an event. Morel, I think, since I don't have all the details, I think you may want to talk about it before we wrap up.
Yeah, actually, again, I just have to thank you for this type of show, and I very much appreciate it. And I very much appreciate everyone here for this wonderful discussion. And yes, we have an event. It's called African American Diversity Gala. This event is on the 21st of December, and the event starts at 8 p.m. It's $100 per person, and it's a VIP event. It includes everything. You don't need to buy. It's not like usual VIP event where you come, they tell you to buy a table, and then they sell you drinks and food. This event is $100. You don't need to buy anything. We give you the best food, the best drinks, and we treat you like king or queen when you come in, like a celebrity. So please, you can call 240-883-2677 to get your ticket, or you can get the ticket through Eventbrite. And my homepage is Morel the Gator in Facebook. You can get all the information there. And we hope all the African community all the African diaspora will be there to support each other, because it's an event to connect all the African diaspora together through businesses, because each of us, we have our businesses, but we are not known within the diaspora. We only be known just in each of us community. We need to broaden our connection toward every other community, Ghana, Togo, Benin, Senegal, name it. You are invited to come and enjoy yourself while making a pitch of your business to grow the community.
Hopefully we'll have it on VIP social, right?
Yeah, so he has an event.
It's like Eventbrite.
Like
Same thing as
Eventbrite.
Eventbrite.
That's true. And we were talking about it earlier. You know, if I knew
We have a
that,
marketplace
I
also,
could have
so you
used it.
can put the marketplace, like Etsy.
Anyway, so basically you've all heard about the event, guys. Pay attention. I will share the flyer on my platform as well. We will broadcast it for specific details. Any of you, if you have your events, please forward to my inbox, and then I will also broadcast and we'll tag it onto the view. She also has a product line.
Yeah, I do sell lotions, body lotions that I make from scratch. If you want a skin looking, I mean, my skin looks good, you will say that. So if any girl, so I can share my information, I'll give you a call. So I do live here in Maryland. I do deliver even up to Canada. If you need body lotion just to brighten up your skin, might be you have problems with your face, acne problems, might be you have some stubborn knuckles, stubborn stuff going on with you, and you want to clean them. I mean, I know some people don't want to bleach, some people just want to look good, you know. Depends on whatever
that's
you
a whole
want.
different topic.
I know. Depend on whatever you want, whatever works for you. Some people want to tone, some people want to brighten up, some people want to do whatever, go 5 steps. I'm here for your service, whatever you want. Whatever you want. I really did take classes on that, and I'm doing that from scratch, and it's been working. So if anybody wants it, just call me on 240-533-1375, and I'll gladly do a consultation with you, see your skin type, know what might work for you, suggest something, work on it, and then we keep going.
Are you in social media?
All right. Okay. So thank you once again, everybody, to all the panelists: Bianca, BB, Morel, Harriet, Doc, who has a phone call to take, Micah, Akenji, and Akenji, and of course our volunteer camera lady behind. You know, we had a disappointment, but we had a volunteer staff who came in. She's not on camera, but want to appreciate your time for coming, and to all the audience who stayed in with us. We thank you so much, guys. All I can say is dialogue with one another, find love. If you're looking for love, love is out there, and there are good people. Trust me, there are still good people out in the universe. If you carry good karma, you're going to have good karma locate you. All right. So love is real, love is beautiful. Practice it and enjoy it. So I like to sign off by saying, if no one has told you that they love you, guess who loves you? It's your girl, Diane. And I love you passionately with the love of God. Go out and make it a beautiful day. Follow me and have a blessed one. Bye, child. No logo here. Thank you.
All right. All done?
Let's go.
You're very insightful.
I can't do.
Thank you guys.
Don't fire me today. My love.
But I can't. I can't try for you. Thank you.
She like my song, she like my song,